The whole idea here is to demonstrate these fantastic pigment sticks made by R F. In the old days, or nowadays too, you would use traditional tube paint. You take your tube, you squeeze out some paint color, we take our paintbrush, and we, paint our circle. What ended up happening was, as painting started to expand, a lot of artists needed something more immediate. They needed something more direct. And they simply take their tube, they add a bit of pressure, and they make their circle this way. It's a very wasteful way of doing it, it's a very expensive way of doing it, and it's kind of limiting because it's hard to control the consistency of the paint. It's either on or it's off. This makes sense. No brush, no tube, no issues with consistency, and you're talking about immediacy. Things happening right now. I don't have to re-clean a brush. I don't have to have 50 brushes with a different paint or a different color on them. I don't have to have any solvents. I don't have to have any thinners. It's a super immediate aesthetic that all happens on the surface. So as you can see, I can create a line very cleanly. Also too, these sticks, they come in different sizes and different widths and diameters. So we can push with a broader stroke, mimicking the aesthetic of, let's say, having a wider brush, without having a brush, without spending the money on a brush, without having to clean a brush, and most importantly, without having to reload a brush. You're able to push the existing paint out of the way to create new lines without scraping first. Again, I don't need any solvents, I don't need any brushes, I don't need any thinners. I just need 2 hands and this paint. That's basically it. These things all work with traditional oil paints. I mean, you can see right now, this is getting to be a little bit wet. Part of the way you do that is, like with friction, because again, I'm working the paint into the surface in this way, it creates warmth on the paint, and the paint itself opens up. And you can see very much this is wet paint. Every bit as wet as the tube. And you can just see it's super easy and super fun. Everything goes down really, really lovely. If I want, I can suddenly just start to get kind of more bombastic with it and start pushing different colors into it and just exploring with it and just seeing, well, what am I looking for here? Having a little bit of fun, just kind of putting ideas down. And that's really like what's exciting about this paint. I'm really interested in these aesthetics of mark making, the aesthetics of residue, what's left behind. These paints are hands down the easiest materials to actually start to use. Again, you need a surface. I mean, I'm using a nice fancy beautiful cradle board here, but I don't even need to be using that. I could be painting on this paper, I could be painting on this table. You can just begin on it. And you can paint with world-class oil color, every bit as good as anything that's being used right now. I've never had to be sold on the notion or the ideology of these sticks. Paint sticks have always made sense to me. So when I found R F, that was it. The search was over.